Do you want to know one of the reasons why I don't believe the Bible? I do not believe the contents of the Bible. I read the Bible. It didn't make sense. One of the stories in the Bible that I looked at it and thought, nah, it's not worth believing, is the story of Ananias and Sapphira. Let me read something to you. In the early Christian church in Jerusalem, the believers were so close that they sold their excess land or possessions and donated the money so no one would go hungry. This sharing of resources was not a formal requirement. I repeat, it was not a formal requirement of the church, but those who participated were looked upon favorably. So you participated, so you are looked on favorably. Their generosity was a sign of their authenticity. Authenticity. Barnabas was one of such generous persons in the early church. Ananias and his wife Sapphira sold a piece of land, piece of property, but they kept back part of the proceeds for themselves and gave the rest to the church, placing the money at the apostles' feet. The apostle Peter, through a revelation from the Holy Spirit, questioned their honesty. Peter said, Ananias, how is it that Satan has filled your heart, that you have lied to the Holy Spirit, and you have kept for yourself some of the money that you received for the land? Didn't it belong to you? Ananias, on hearing this, immediately fell down and died. He fell down dead. Everyone in the church was filled with fear. Young men wrapped up Ananias' body and took him away and buried him. 3 hours later, his wife, Sapphira, came in, not knowing what had happened. And Peter asked her if the amount they donated was the full price, and she said yes. Peter said, how could you agree to test the Spirit of the Lord? Look, the feet of the men who buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out also. And just like her husband, she instantly fell down and died. Again, the young men took her body and buried it. With this show of God's anger and great fear seized everyone in the young church. Guys, it was not mandatory for Ananias and Sapphira to give anything. They chose to give a part of their property, a part of the proceeds of their property. No one told, there's nowhere in the story that tells us whether they had a need. Maybe the child was sick. Maybe something came up. Life happens, for goodness sake. Sometimes you make a vow to give and something comes up and you are unable to give. The story does not tell us anything at all. Did they have a need? It was their own property. They sold their property and decided to keep some for themselves. Maybe they didn't want to go hungry in case anything happened. Okay, it was just a mistake, right? Okay, let's say they made a mistake. I don't see anything wrong in what they did. It is their property. They can choose to do whatever they want with their property. They can choose to just decide not to give it. It's theirs after all. But God was so angry. Killed them instantly. Did he kill them because of keeping some money? This is so unfair. Why can't God provide for the church? Provide his own money to the church. Now you depend on others and kill them for not giving to you. Guys, this is one of the reasons why I could never be a Christian ever again. I look at stories like this and my stomach turns, sickening. How people will open that book and call it the Holy Bible, more like the evil Bible.